on today's show, a return, a friend of the show, you might say, Mr. John Duncan.
That's me.
Good to see you again, sir.
Yep, good to see you.
So the last video was just a general chit chat. About everything, really.
Yeah, it sort of was, yeah.
And we discovered where the album was recorded.
Yeah, that's true. Matrix Studio, for anybody out there interested that didn't read the reply, or didn't even know, or cared.
Well, I did.
I did as well, actually, because I was amazed that I couldn't remember where it was. But the minute Gary, the bass player, said it was, oh, fuck, of course it was.
Today's video is more about your guitar playing history.
Okay.
And music and stuff like that. So when did music first, when did you first hear something and thought, I like music? You know, not necessarily guitar playing, but music.
There was music in the house all the time, because I'm the youngest by 10 years in my family. I had 3 sisters that were older than me, and at that time they all had Rolling Stones and Beatles, and my mother and father, they like things like Andy Williams and the Pointer Sisters and the Andrews sisters.
Andrews sisters, I think my mum and dad did that.
And all these Scottish things, and so there was music in the house all the time. But I think the first thing that I probably heard that would be Chuck Berry, maybe.
Right.
Because I used to, when I went to bed, I took a transistor radio under the covers and listened to, tuned into things, and I heard, and I think it was Chuck Berry was the first music that I heard that done something that just went, oh,
I like that.
I really like that. Because you heard all this music, Andy Williams and stuff like that, and what's his name, Stewart, accordion guy, kilt and everything. Andy Stewart. But the Chuck Berry thing. And then I remember my sister, older, because if I was 10, she'd be 20. Mm. And she caught me listening to this music, and she's going, oh, you can't listen, that's blues music, that's bad music, you shouldn't listen to that. And of course that just made me want to listen to it all the more. I'm going, oh, that's for me. So that was, I think the first thing would have been Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry. And it was long before my ding-a-ling.
Just that rhythm was just, wow, it's got me in there, sort of thing. And then I wanted a guitar. And my very, very, very first guitar, my dad made for me. He just cut out a guitar shape and painted it. But I was happy with that. I'm just like in front of the mirror going, I've got a guitar.
Did they have strings in it?
No, nothing. They just painted everything on it. It had frets, i.e. I think he stuck matches on it. All the way up there, and there was knobs on it which were like bottle tops screwed on, and it was just a bit of wood in the shape of a guitar, painted. But when you're that young and...
have you still got it?
No, fuck knows what happened to that. No, my first proper guitar, my sister and my brother-in-law clubbed together and bought me for my Christmas a Columbus Les Paul.
Right.
It was £45 from McCormick's in Glasgow.
Oh, aye. Was it like wasn't it a bolt-on neck one? Was it like a proper
sort of... Oh, aye, it's a bolt-on neck,
right.
Aye. Oh, aye.
So that'd be what, early 70s or something like that?
Very early 70s. Maybe even 70 or something. No, wait a minute. No, about 71, 72. I was born in 58.
Right.
So 13, I think, I got my first guitar.
Did you have an amp at the time?
Not for the first bit. My first amp was, I don't ask me the name, but this...
Your dad didn't make you?
No.
Make you an amp?
No, how did I get the first amp? It was this red and cream thing with like 4 knobs on it and an input with one wee speaker.
Right.
And then at the time, Woolworths done all these guitars and amps. They were called Audition.
Right.
And it was the first thing I had was this Audition thing with a slope bit at the front and with a spring reverb and everything in it, and it just sounded rubbish. And honestly, the whole thing was about 4 ounces, and that was with the speaker and the amp and everything, you know.
I take it there wasn't much overdrive or anything like that.
No, nothing like that. The first overdrive I had was actually one that you plugged into the guitar. This little box.
Aye.
Who made them again? There was, you get a purple peaker and an orange squeezer and a yellow, I can't remember all the names of them. All these little...
I think Josh out of JHS Pedals did a video recently, and he was saying that these were the first ones that actually just plugged into your guitar.
You plugged it into your guitar and then plugged your lead into that, and there was just a rotary volume thing on it, or the amount of distortion or whatever. That was the first thing.
How did that sound?
Well, as far as I can remember, it sounded fucking amazing. Just having this distorted sound and being able to, you know, that was, because back, I mean, what did you know back then? Nothing. Like, everything was like, whoa.
I remember I got an MXR Distortion Plus and I thought, this is the best thing I've ever heard. And I think that was turned up full and I was playing through a solid state amp and the overdrive was full on that, and I was like, this is the best sound I've ever heard.
Well, that's it. You're just discovering these things.
What were you playing? Were you playing Chuck Berry at that point then?
Not really. I'd be playing... The first things that I got into were like Slade and David Bowie and Alice Cooper. Well, Rory Gallagher, Johnny Winter.
Right.
I listened a little bit to the Allman Brothers, but it wasn't really my thing.
A bit too meandering at times, kind of.
It just didn't click right in. But Johnny Winter I loved, and Rory Gallagher I loved. But I was really into Slade and Alice Cooper and David Bowie and Mud and all these things. So just pottering about. And then a lot of things like Stones. I never liked the Beatles at first, and the reason I didn't like the Beatles is because all my sisters liked the Beatles.
Right, so did you hear it? I mean, it was all the time?
That's my big, you think, that's for grown-ups. I don't know, do you know what I mean?
It's my big sister's music,
much later in the year that I really started to appreciate the Beatles, how absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
God almighty, they're just the simplest of songs, and you're listening to going, well, that's the and then you work it out, you go, wow, there's a lot of stuff going in there. Oh, what amazing stuff.
That'd be the 70s, and you're playing Slade,
Rolling Stones things, David Bowie, Alice Cooper, just when all these things were coming out. Because there was a bunch of us at school that all used to get at each other's house going, I learned this during the week. So we'd all learn that, and then I'd learn something, so I'd show it to people, and it just went like that, and then just try to get wee bands together playing covers and stuff. And
so what was the first sort of covers you did, like when you're in your first band then?
Just everything that we knew at the time. So there'd be some Slade stuff, some Quo stuff, maybe a Rolling Stones song.
When was the first gig then? When was that? I'll go back in time.
Well, actually, the first proper gig was a thing called Zeitgeist, but that was our own music.
Right.
And in Coatbridge at the Georgian Bar, I think it was.
Okay.
And
what did that sound like? What sort of music was that?
I mean, it was before they Exploited, but it must have been sort of quite punky. Because I had like chains and all stuff on me and a ripped t-shirt and everything, so it must have been like a couple of years before they Exploited.
But still in a sort of punk rock.
Aye, in that sort of vein.
When was the first time you sort of became aware of punk rock then? Like 76, The Damned or something?
Something like that. Because I listened to what's his name? John Peel all the time. Listening, because that's where everything was being discovered. Sort of thing. The first time you ever heard anything was on John Peel.
Yeah.
Going, I like that. I like that. So, and also I worked in a record shop as well.
Were you still living in Glasgow in Cumbernauld at the time?
I lived in Glasgow. I lived in a place called Muirhead. But I started working in a record shop in Glasgow called Listen.
Right.
But then, and the punk thing had already been happening then. It was already, but then I moved through to Edinburgh in maybe 79 to work in the Listen.
Oh, the one through here.
Opening a shop through in Edinburgh.
Aye.
So I came through to help set it up and ended up staying in Edinburgh because I had a couple of mates at university.
Right.
Found a bit of floor space in somebody's room and
just crashed there.
Well, I had this sort of cupboard to myself. It was that's me moved to Edinburgh sort of thing.
So was that when you met Watty and that?
Sort of, because at the time there was a sort of scene and it was in Blair Street.
Oh, the rehearsal
bands
rooms,
were all playing there, and I wasn't in any band, but I played guitar at the time, and I was into punk music, and at certain nights get a carry out, a smoke and everything, and go up to the practice rooms and watch bands. So I was in the Exploited practice room one night when they were going to be rehearsing, except the bass player hadn't turned up.
Right.
So I went, I'll play the bass. So I'll just watch the guitar player. So I watched the guitar player and played the bass, and then we were having a break, rolling a joint or whatever, and I picked up the guitar and had a shot of the guitar, and they obviously went, oh, he can play guitar. And then a couple of weeks later they're going, do you want to join the band as a guitar player?
And that was it?
I went, okay.
What guitar were you using at that point then?
I had the Paul.
Oh, the walnut one.
Walnut one, which is a great guitar.
I've had a couple.
It had Dirty Fingers pickups in it that were amazing, absolutely brilliant. And I've got guitars now that still have Dirty Fingers.
Oh, you still use them?
Oh, aye, yeah.
Right.
I just thought they were great. I loved them.
Aye, because they're quite high output as well.
I've got a Les Paul, my white Les Paul, it's got Dirty Fingers in it, and my Gibson Flying V, it's got Dirty Fingers in it.
Right. So, because you showed me a photograph as well, I think you're using an SG 500, like
the first. Well, I had I got this SG 500. That was the first guitar I would be using with the Exploited.
Right, early doors.
Aye.
Did you use it on the first album?
I used it in the very first gig. Had that on it, aye.
Right.
Well, I've seen pictures. I can't remember the name of the place, but Carluke or something. This gig at Carluke or something, or Carlops maybe.
Carlops,
aye.
So somebody sent me a link to that the other day, like a poster or something like that. I think it was.
Could be. Well, they had the Yamaha SG and that. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier on. I seen it and played it and went back to work. And within a week, I had enough money to go and get it. And I walked out the shop with this guitar straight in front of a taxi. It fucking stopped about half an inch from me, and I'm like, because I'm so high at getting this fucking guitar. I was like, wow.
Could have been trashed within a minute of walking out the shop.
I know, bloody hell.
So you
just heard this screech of the guy going, "You're a fucking idiot, man." Sorry, mate.
So, what amp were you using at that point then? I presume you'd progressed for the wee sort of the red one.
Oh, aye, the red and white thing. What else? I had a PV Pacer 45. Had one of them for quite a while, but that was in Glasgow. Now, when I came through to Edinburgh, I think I bought a Marshall. I bought a second-hand Marshall.
Like one of the JMP or something?
I think so, yeah.
And what was the yellow the yellow pedal?
The yellow pedal?
Aye, the Dodd.
Oh, that was the grey one with the yellow.
Oh, the grey one, aye.
A Dodd 250 distortion. Overdrive.
Aye.
Overdrive it was. That was it. That was the only pedal I used.
Sounded good though.
And it wasn't there at the front of the stage. It was right at the back, at the side, taped onto the side of my amp.
Just always switched on?
Always. Oh, it was on all the time.
Right.
Well, that was the sound. And you just played guitar from beginning to end.
Just gaffer taped onto the amp?
Oh, well, the thing is, an Exploited gig, there's people on the stage and fucking things getting ripped out all over the place. So I had just the guitar plugged into my pedal, and if the pedal was on the floor with another cable running out,
it would just get pulled out.
3 minutes, or somebody would have grabbed it. Do you know what I mean? It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So no, just that one pedal on. And
did you tell me earlier somebody threw like a pint glass, one of the thick pint glasses?
It was down south. I think it was in London. I'm not sure, but a big heavy pint. It's not a glass. It's what is it you call it? A mug.
Mug, aye.
Big, smashed into my guitar and my hand at the same time, but I never realised how damaged I was, or the guitar, until after I'd finished playing.
Until the blood
was everywhere, all over me, the guitar, the floor, and this huge big dent. I had a Les Paul Standard at the time, big dent in it, and then shards of glass, and a big cut right on my knuckle there, in the side of my hand.
Punk rock.
Fucking hell.
A fan, it must have been.
I must have really, really liked what I was doing. Here, have a pint.
So, the Blood Uncles, what did you use when you started that, guitar-wise?
Oh, right. I've got this. Well, I actually had this guitar in the Exploited as well. It started off as a Vox.
Right.
I bought it off a guy at school for £5.
Right.
This Vox guitar that was blue. And when I say the guitar was blue, I don't mean the body was painted blue. I mean the whole fucking guitar was painted blue. Headstock, neck, frets, controls, saddle, the scratch plate, the strings were just, it's as if he just dipped the whole guitar in this. And it was a horror. See that blue that's on that? It was like a really horrible blue like that, a sort of bright. Not well. I don't know how to describe that sort of blue.
Like this.
That was that colour of blue.
So like
horrendous.
Had he just like spray painted the whole thing?
I don't know if it was spray painted or painted.
Fuck. So that was a fiver for your blue guitar.
A fiver, and it had this weird whammy bar on it. That was a big piece of metal that was shaped like that. It was rusty, and so I just took it to bits. The paint came off pretty easy, and I put it back together again. And while I was doing that, I thought, oh, I'll reshape it a wee bit. I'll cut a couple of bits off it, and then I thought, right, I'm going to paint it and see how it's going to go. So my dad had a hut. My dad was a painter and decorator. So I was in the hut, and I had the guitar, and I had all these. I was really into models, like Airfix and stuff like that. So I had all these Humbrol paints, wee tins of enamel paints. So I had this idea of a sort of camouflage thing, and so I'm trying to paint the guitar, and it wasn't fucking working right. It was horrible, and it wasn't that I wasn't a nice child. I had anger in me, and I had a real temper as well. So I ended up the guitar was hanging up to paint sort of thing, so that I could paint all of it at the same time. If you laid it down and painted it, you'd have to wait till that was dry before. So I had it hanging up in the hut to paint, and I got so angry that I ended up just fucking flinging the paints all over the place, and then in a bad mood, fucked off. And then a father going nuts because of the state of the hut.
Because it was everywhere in the hut.
Well, it was just bits, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then when I went in, the paint had hit the guitar, and then it had all ran down, all these blue, red and yellow. And I went, wow, that looks fucking amazing. And I've still got that guitar to this day.
Have you still got that one?
I've still got it. It's had about 4 necks. And I remember at the time I'd got this pickup, like a DiMarzio, but the actual guitar itself had the spaces cut. Well, instead of having a space cut for each pickup, it had 3 pickups. Right. It had this big, huge hole cut where the pickups would be, and then another hole cut for the where the controls and stuff. Right. So I'm going, I don't really want any more. I'm just going to have one pickup on it, and I bought a DiMarzio or something. So what I done was I got the shape of the hole that was there, and I went into the cupboard and got all the packets of things out, like cornflakes and whatever had a cardboard, and I cut this shape out about 30 times and glued it into the cavity. Like 1, 2, 3, until it was up to depth, and then I made my own scratch plate, cut out the thing and put this humbucker in it, and there we go. I had a humbucker. And while going back a wee bit, when I was in the States with the Exploited, I bought my first Bowen handle. You ever heard of them?
No.
A Bowen handle is a tremolo unit or a vibrato arm that you just put straight onto a Les Paul.
How does that work then?
The same way as the Duesenberg. There's the bridge, there's the tailpiece. You take the tailpiece off, put the Bowen handle on. There's a wee spring inside it. The strings go through it over your tailpiece, and then it just.
Did it stay in tune? Kinda.
Kinda.
Was there much call for tremolo action in the Exploited?
The thing is, I never put it on that guitar. I bought it in the States.
And then brought it back.
And then I brought it back with me because I thought, oh, that's amazing. And I put it on this Strat. Because I used that in that was in the States with me as well. That Strat.
Right.
The painted Strat.
So you've still got
that and a Les Paul with the two guitars that I had.
Because how long were you in the States with Exploited for that time? Was it a full tour?
Oh, it was a full tour. We were there for a month or more.
Right. So the Blood Uncles, you've still got the Blood Uncles guitar?
Oh, I still have that. I also had a red Squire Strat with two humbuckers and a whammy bar on it.
Right.
I had that, but I mainly used the Splatter Strat.
Does the cornflakes and stuff, is that still underneath?
Oh, aye.
That's still.
It's still in it. And the neck that's on it just now is a reverse, a left-handed Telecaster neck.
Oh, right.
So that it's the headstock's upside down. That's what's on it.
I'll get some photographs of that to put in the video.
And there's no volume control on it. There's only a kill switch now.
So it's either on or off?
It's on, unless I press the kill switch.
Brilliant.
I've got two guitars like that now.
When you play with the Mackenzies, do you do that?
No.
No.
I could though, because there's some songs. Well, not in the songs that we're about to do, but some that we were doing the last time we were out. There's some songs where there's bits in it where I can do whatever I want in it. So that would fit great in there.
Brilliant, a guitar with no volume control. So when you joined the Mackenzies, what guitar are you using at that point? Sorry, I should have said, what amp were you using with the Blood Uncles?
Oh, high watt.
Were you using a high watt?
I had a high watt.
Right.
100 watt high watt custom.
Loud then?
Oh man, that was a great amp. That's another amp that I'm going, why did I ever get rid of that?
With 4x12s as well?
Two 4x12s. Completely different, just a 4x12 and there's another 4x12. I mean, they matched, you know what I mean, but they weren't a pair or anything, it was just two 4x12s, the full stack sort of thing.
Were you using foot pedals at that point?
I had a Boss board, one of the grey boards.
Oh, yeah.
With the power one, the red one that is the in out of it, basically, that you can bypass all the pedals and it's the main power supply. A turbo overdrive, a distortion. I had a chorus pedal, but I hardly used it. Two delay pedals just set up, one for long and one for... And of course every song had a different delay setting in it, so I used to have little tiny bits of tape. So I had to move by hand and hope that it was in sync with the drum machine.
How did you know which one was which? Just guesswork?
Oh, I just did. Because you were, that's a good question. But at the time, you were using it all the time.
So you just
which
remembered?
one was what.
God. With your £5 guitar fully...
My £5 guitar.
Fully Kel's conflict.
What was the first thing I got? An SDE 2000.
What was that?
Like a rack, effects thing.
Yeah.
And then I could have this tap delay. It was like, oh man, what a difference that made. Having tap delay. Everything perfectly in time with the drum machine.
And that's through your high watt head.
High watt head.
Two 4x12s and all that.
4x12s, a graphics, and the multi thing. And the effects pedals. Because I only use the multi effect for reverb and delays.
Right. So after that, you do the Mackenzies thing. What guitar do you turn up with the Mackenzies? What was the first one you take to that?
I'm using a vinyl red Les Paul, the 1960. It was reissued in 1990.
Right, aye.
This 1960 Les Paul. I used that a lot. What else did I have at that time?
Did you have your white Les Paul at that point?
It was a wee bit later. I got that. I had a Gretsch Silverjet. I used
that's
that.
right. Yeah.
I had a Washburn, a black Washburn Strat sort of shape with two humbuckers and a single coil. And
I remember that one.
Floyd Rose in it. I had a Hamer Telecaster with a reverse headstock.
Aye, right enough.
I had the Silverjet. Had a white Les Paul, the red Les Paul, the Silverjet.
So you'd grown your guitar?
Ibanez RG550. Because we were getting into the studio and I thought, a couple of songs, I'm going, this could do with a Strat in it. So I went to buy a Strat, except they're all shite. I'm thinking, these are fucking horrible.
Right.
So and they had this Ibanez guitar, and I went, wow, yeah, this is great. Great guitar. So I got it.
You had a Charvet as well, do you know? Like
I had a Charvet that I pretty liked that. Covered it in stickers, and to this day I've no idea what happened to it.
Because I've got a photograph of me playing it. I used it on a Joyrider's track.
Oh really? Maybe you've still got it.
I didn't steal it though.
What's at the back of your cover?
It was that was down in Fish's studio.
Okay.
That'd have been 92 or something.
Wow. Was that all just that guitar?
I just borrowed that.
Right, okay.
I can't remember why I bought it.
Yeah, it was okay.
I think I needed to do a dive bomb.
I had a Marlin. You ever heard of them? Marlin.
Aye, one of those like cheap heavy metal Strats.
I had a No, it wasn't a Strat. It was the big Randy Rhoads V-shaped thing.
I
used that in the Blood Uncles as well.
Did that stay in tune?
It was okay. Aye. Had it covered in stickers, and there was a Marlin in the 12th fret. And I took it to a guy and I'm going, get rid of that and put a lightning flash in it instead. So I got a lightning flash and laid into it instead of the fucking stupid. It was like a chewing gum Marlin. It was really horrible.
My mate had the Strat one because I had a lock and trem and I was like, that has never stayed in tune for more than a nanosecond. It was horrible. What amps were you using in the Mackenzies? Were you using a Marshall preamp at that point?
I did actually. I had a Marshall.
Is it a 55 one something? 20 or something like that?
Well, I don't actually have the amp anymore. I've still got the power amp.
Right.
Got a big 50 watts per channel. 9000 series, is it?
Yeah.
Power amp. I still use that. But I've got, what I use with it now is a V8 Mesa Boogie, a pedal that's called a V8. Well, I've got the prototype. I have a clear Perspex prototype of the first one that they made, that they gave to Kurt Cobain to try it out.
Right.
And he didn't like it. Or he plugged it in and went and unplugged it, and I put it in my toolbox and forgot about it. So, and I use it as a preamp because it's got valves in it. It's got little valves. And it's got 3 channels, clean, dirty and lead. But what I don't like, see when you change between the channels, there's a wee glitch. So it doesn't go straight to the sound. There's I don't know how to explain it. There's just this wee. So I have it set up as a preamp. That's the preamp that the guitar, guitar, effects, preamp, power amp, speakers. Well, one speaker. The speaker that I run off that is a 400 watt stereo Marshall.
Okay.
And this 50 watt, the fucking volume, the thing, man, is incredible. Just two presence controls and 2 volume controls.
And that's it.
Because it is completely stereo. And the cabinet's completely stereo as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's
so you ended up with the prototype.
Aye.
Bloody hell.
And it's like made with perspex, so you can see everything inside it. And the power supply, it's as if somebody made it in their kitchen with fucking gaffer tape and bits of plastic, and it's like bits of, you think it's going to fall apart, do you know what I mean? It's this thing with loads of tape all wrapped around it, and actually see the bare wires, and then a bit with the wee bit that you plug into the control, then the other bit with a plug in the end of it.
Is it like your dad made it in his hut?
It's like your blind fucking auntie made it in a puddle.
The only thing that's missing is a cornflakes packet from it.
Aye, really. Well, that's like Billy Gibbons puts his radio packs in, like cigarette packs and stuff.
I've seen that. Aye. Bloody hell.
Right.
So now the Mackenzies are out playing again. What are you using for these gigs? Amp and guitar wise.
Amp. I've got an orange rocker Verb 50 watt.
Right.
I've got that.
Is it like the combo?
The combo, but it's good. I love it. And I've got it sounded just at the edge of breakup. Clean.
Right.
But it's all my pedals that are running into it.
You'll need to send me a photograph of the pedals you're using. Actually.
I'll do that. Well, they're slightly different than what I was. I'm using the Boss Turbo Overdrive.
Right.
And my Boss Delay.
It doesn't
5 or 7. No, it's got tap tempo.
It'd be good if they still had the Blood Uncles thing still stuck on it.
No, that would be a nightmare. Because every single song's got delay on it.
Aye.
Just about. There's some bits, I take it off, but most of this thing I've used delay on nearly everything.
Right.
In fact, if there's anybody out there that can build me a delay pedal with tap tempo and also a volume on it so that I can control how loud the volume is for each song. Because some songs I want quiet delay, and other ones I want really
loads of delay.
I want loads of delay. And there's no such thing.
No.
You have to set the level and then that's it.
Right.
You can sort the tempo out, no problem. Switch it on and off, no problem. But you can't alter the level of delay.
Oh, the delay.
The volume.
Maybe somebody can make you one then.
Yeah, that's what I'm just fucking asking.
So do you have a chorus pedal? Do you ever use chorus?
No chorus. No. Three distortions. Three different distortions, overdrives, fuzz. I haven't got the amp set up to use the other channel on the amp, because if I do use that, then I'll have to run 2 extra cables from my delay to use it in the effects loop.
Oh, right.
And then if I do that, then I can use the distortion on the amp, because the distortion on the amp's killer.
Aye. So you've still got a fine collection of guitars.
Really.
What guitars will you be taking out for the Mackenzie shows then?
Well, the next, I'm taking I've got this thing in my head that every show I'm going, I use a different guitar every single show. The last time I went out, I used 2 guitars, and I used deliberately an orange guitar and a green guitar.
Right.
So the orange guitar was my Reverend with the 3 P90s on it.
Yeah.
And I used an Airline Mercury with 2 P90s on it. And I swapped one night an orange guitar, next night a green guitar. Great. So this time I'm going out, I'm using a Backland rocker box, which is a big semi-acoustic sort of thing. And I'm using another Airline weird shaped 60s Japanese thing that they've recreated.
Yeah. Do you not get any feedback for the sort of semi-hollow body one?
No, it sounds amazing. And it's got Filtertrons in it.
Right.
And a Bigsby.
I'll need to get a photograph of that as well.
Yeah.
So, what's in your current guitar collection? What other sort of stuff have we got there now?
Now that I've been in Edinburgh for quite a bit, I've got a sort of wee collection here, because I need stuff to rehearse and play gigs and
You need as many guitars as possible.
Well, basically. and I've got my stuff in Holland as well, half in the house and half in my rehearsal room. So in Holland, Well, the white Les Paul's over there, the black Flying V's over there, my Gretsch Diamond Anniversary's over there, my Harley Benton Telecaster's over there, my Fender Telecaster's over there, my Gibson acoustic jazz guitar.
I remember that you have
Gibson.
That's right, yeah.
Is over there. My Schecter fluorescent green with Sustainiac pickups over there. My black Eastwood Sidewinder baritones over there. My Hello Kitty stickered guitar is over there. My Ibanez RG50 is over there.
Over there.
My Tokai Strat is over there.
Uh-huh.
My Franken Strat Tele neck, it's over there. What else? What have I forgotten about? That'll do for there. So
that's a European guitars.
That's the European guitars. The Scottish guitars are my Silver Jet. It's here. Both two Backlunds. I've got two Backlunds. One's a solid. It's a 900, the green solid one.
Oh, I remember. It's very green.
Well, it's a sort of olive sunburst, they called it. And then I've got the Backlund rocker box. It's orange and black. I have my Airline Jetson Junior in Gully green. Just one pickup where I put a Bigsby on it. I have my Mercury, Airline Mercury in lime Cado. I have I've got a metallic green baritone Sidewinder as well.
You're a big fan of green guitars.
Oh, I love green. I'm fed up with it. Oh, and also I have a great guitar from my friend Ernie Bailey, who used to be your Nirvana man, who still is basically. One of his hand-built wire instruments.
Right.
It's a sort of Jaguar shape in sonic blue.
Right.
With P90s on it.
I didn't know he builds guitars.
Oh man, he builds absolutely beautiful guitars.
Right.
He's. Do you know what he's doing just now? He's out with people. I never get the full story, but he's got Jimi Hendrix's Strat.
Has he?
He actually has Jimi Hendrix's Strat. He's managed to take it apart, had a look about it, spent about 8 hours putting it back to rights again so it can be used.
Bloody hell.
Oh, you've known, it's incredible the stuff that Ernie gets up to.
Right.
No, he builds wire. Check it out, man. Wire. I'll send you a link for wire instruments and look at his guitars, man. They're beautiful.
So you got that as well?
Absolutely gorgeous.
This will be an hour-long video just for all these photographs of all your guitars.
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I've got this really lovely Tokai recently.
Have you?
A Tokai Talbot.
Well, you don't see many of them.
No, you don't actually. It's and it was the guy from NXS that used to use one of them, but that's a great guitar, man.
Tim Farris, I think he was famous.
Farris, I think. It's so great.
Rory Gallagher had one as well.
Really?
Aye.
I know that Eastwood was going to make that he was going to have his own guitar. Right. Rory Gallagher with just one pickup on it and a sort of quite rad body shape.
Aye.
And it never. I don't know how far it got before he passed away.
Because if you go onto like his official website, there's a Tokai Talbot, like a white one.
Oh wow!
You're not bidding on his guitar.
No, God, I haven't got that sort of money.
And your latest guitar, which you showed me a photograph of, is
a Paul Stanley Ibanez. Well, it's not an Ibanez. It came from China, so officially it's a Chibanez or Chibanez, whatever you want to call it. The smashed mirror Iceman, which is.
It looks cool.
Oh, it looks great from far away, but when you look at it up close, it's the actual mirror finish is terrible. But the guitar itself, man, it's awesome. It's so good for the amount of money that paid for it. £280. I just can't work out how such a good guitar for that neck through body, not a bolt on, all the and the whole guitar and neck and headstock is all the inlay around it, and wow, it's stunning. It plays great, it feels great, the tuners work really good. I can't fault it. The only fault is the finish of the actual mirror guitar, but
isn't it great? But
punk rock.
You probably won't be using that on stage with the Mackenzies, I don't think.
I don't know. You never know.
Oh, aye, maybe. Right, I'll do that.
I don't see why not.
You send me a photograph of all these guitars, and I'll
do that.
I'll put them all in the video at various points. So again, as ever, it's always a pleasure hanging out with Mr. John Duncan.
Thank you so much.
And maybe another episode at some point in the future, talking about maybe your Nirvana work.
Oh yeah, food from across the world. Food on tour, food from across the world.
Let's do that. Tour food with Mr.
Food.
John Duncan.
Yeah, fantastic. I'd love to do that.
Cool, man. Thank you.
My pleasure. Do we do a sonic handshake? Yay!
Tour food from around the world.
Tour food.